Bazooka Bill is an Australian action game, I guess. I mean, action game is a really generic term to use to describe a game, but I honestly don't know what to even call it. It's kind of like a beat 'em up, but also kind of a shooter. But it's also an exploration game, but kind of a puzzle game from Australia, where you play an army guy. I assume his name is Bazooka Bill, and he has to rescue a general, but he's got these weird... I don't even know how to describe it. It's so unusual. Look at it. What's going on here?
This is me not doing anything. We've got helicopters and these guys. The graphics are so bad I can't even tell what they are. I used to think these were guys wearing motorcycle helmets, but are they supposed to be ninjas? In any case, they don't do anything but run by so fast you don't even really have time to react to them. Our character, hereafter referred to as Bazooka Bill because I assume my assumption is correct, is not your average everyday soldier. You might say he's well armed, but don't. That's a really terrible pun and you should be ashamed, idiot. Look at the size of his arm. And what's that shooting out of it? When I first played this game, I thought that because his name is Bazooka Bill, that he's shooting a bazooka, and that there's a little muzzle flash and puff of smoke shooting out. No, that's his fist. Why is it so huge? Why is it detached from his arm? Why do enemies explode into weird egg shapes when they're punched? They don't even attack you. They just keep on running, taking your health meter down as they bump past you. Whoever's in charge of this Kill Bill campaign has some really weird strategy in mind here, and a weird fascination with color coding everything. Look, all the ninjas on the lower level must wear white, and all the ones on the upper level must wear blue. All the helicopters at the top must be yellow. There are ladders everywhere, but the ninjas never use them. Maybe because doing so would violate their color code. So help me if we have a white ninja on the upper level. Now there are hundreds and hundreds of these ninjas running at you all the time, and fighting them with your fists is not really ideal. So pretty early on we find our first weapon, which is a throwing knife. This knife can fly right through a whole group of ninjas and explode them in a row, regardless of whether or not the pointy end actually hits them. And these ninjas always come running on screen in groups of 3, so you're pretty much guaranteed to take out a whole row of them every time. This would be great if there was a point to it, but these guys just keep coming and you don't really make any progress in the level as long as you're standing there throwing knives. Speaking of progress, the way you move through these levels are so insane. Excuse the tangents, but there's so much going on in this game, it's tough for me to focus on just one thing. You know those castles in Super Mario Bros. Where you have to follow a specific path or else you have to start over? This whole game is like that. You have to keep changing paths to test and see if it takes you anywhere new while you have these ninjas constantly running at you from all directions. This allows for some very strange feats of architecture. You can head down one path that takes you to a dock like you're heading towards the sea, but if you take the wrong path, at the end of the dock you go right back into the city. Soon the game switches it up by replacing the ninjas with a bunch of sailors, or chefs. I'm not quite sure, but all things considered, machine gun toting chefs isn't that much of a stretch here. Whatever, I think it's funny. These chefs actually stop running in order to attack you, but they go right up into point blank range first so you can punch them out. Like the ninjas, they always wear white or cyan depending on what floor they're on. Okay, before I move on, let me briefly mention what happens when you run out of lives. Like most arcade games, it gives you a continue screen. You have infinite continues, but you have to press F5 before this timer runs out. What is that? Why is this countdown timer so fast? You know how hard it is to even find F5 on the keyboard? Look, this is a Commodore 64. When you're playing this game, you're using a joystick, so you're not going to have the keyboard at your fingertips. So as soon as that continue screen comes up, you have to put down the joystick, reach over the keyboard, find this button, and press it before this timer runs out. What is that about? Oh, and by the way, this is at PAL speed. If you run it on a North American NTSC machine, it goes even faster. The next weapon you can collect is a flamethrower. which kind of works the same way as the knife, except it fires in a straight line rather than an arc. And it makes a little more sense to me that a flamethrower would turn ninjas into omelets than a thrown metal blade. Soon enough you come to the end of the level, but there's no indication of the actual exit. You just walk across some invisible line, and all of a sudden Bazooka Bill floats up in the air, grinning like Charlie Brown as he waves his hat. The next level is an airport where karate chefs run up and kick you in the backside, then run off. Then our hero takes to the air. Even here, the aircraft is color-coded. Upper yellow, middle cyan, bottom white. And when you touch down and arrive at the next level, you're attacked by a bunch of natives and rolling boulders, and they follow this color scheme too. Why? If the ninjas and chefs were given orders to wear matching uniforms, that's one thing. Why these natives follow the same rules? Who painted the boulders blue? What sense does any of this make? Why'd they even design the game this way? What is the point to it? Then, once you get past these guys, some weird men in their underwear run up and pummel you. Look how quickly they drain your energy. Earlier on, helicopters drop bombs on you, and chefs fire machine guns at you, but some unarmed dude in a man diaper is far, far deadlier. Okay, are you ready for this? What the jelly sphincter butt? Are these guys laughing? Screaming as they drive their little go-kart sized tanks with bodies way too small for their heads? Wherefore art thou? Touching one of these guys means instant death, and they never actually fire their guns. A lot of people who have played this game often compare it to Green Beret, another Commodore 64 game based on the arcade game of the same name, also known as Russian Attack in the States. It's easy to see why. You have an army guy being attacked by enemy soldiers who run at him and do little else. But look how goofy Bazooka Bill is in comparison. The Commodore had graphics limitations, but look at how detailed everything is. Considering everything is 4-color and uses large blocky pixels, this is amazing. The soldiers look like soldiers, the girders look like girders, vehicles look like vehicles. Now look at Bazooka Bill. What's this guy? What's this thing? Why are the proportions all wacky? Why are Bazooka Bill's arms so large? Why are these guys' heads so huge? Why is Bazooka Bill bigger than a helicopter? Is it just bad art? Maybe, but some of these bizarre proportions are pretty consistent. Bazooka Bill's arms are gigantic whenever he attacks. It's not just when he's punching, but even when throwing knives or when he starts firing a machine gun, his arms become totally freaking huge. Who designed this gun to require massive arms just to hold it? Anyway, as you can see, our very high-tech supervillain has equipped his ninjas with flails. After that, we get Kamikaze Baby Deer? What is going on here? After the questionable racial motivation behind our hero gunning down natives, now he's killing baby deer? Or are they dogs? What are they? Why can't I tell what anything is in this game? Well, at least I can tell what this is. A bazooka, finally! Blam! It blows up everything in the whole level, leaving you to run around in silence for a while. Yes, it even stops the music. Which is actually a little nice, since the only 2 music tracks in the whole game can get a bit tiring. It also leaves you without distraction to let you worry about trying to figure out this level's infuriating maze for a few seconds. Then I guess everyone returns to life? Or reinforcements show up? Let's say that. I guess that makes more sense. When you beat this level, you go back to the second level again. In fact, these 3 levels repeat infinitely. So where's this general you're supposed to save? Where's the evil supervillain that kidnapped him? Well, the thing is, there's actually a secret path in level 2 that takes you straight to the end. If you miss it, you have to go all the way through levels 3 and 4 again to loop back to number 2. Then when you do, there's no boss, no final battle. After mindlessly wandering to the right and occasionally making random guesses about what path you're supposed to take, the only indication you're even going the right way is that sometimes the scenery changes, and sometimes with no warning you just exit the level. Everything in the game conditions you to believe you are making progress. So when you exit level 2, you have no reason to believe, you just skip past the end and force yourself to go through 2 more full levels. And then, even when you do know that the ending is hidden somewhere, and you somehow know that it's hidden on this of all levels, and you're trying not to exit, you can't see the exit, so you're probably going to end up triggering it and having to start over again. It's actually easier just to reset the game and start over from the beginning, because then you only have to replay 1 level, and it's the easiest one. So after all that, what is your reward for going against your own intuition and finding this hidden path? No boss, no final battle. You just walk to the right, and then the general, who is 2 stories tall, just walks right up to you and says, "Thanks, son," and leaves while you slowly float down to the floor, waving your stupid hat with your stupid Charlie Brown grin and the word "Game Over" written at the top of the screen. My exact words when I saw this for the first time were... Hold on, I wrote it down here. What the heck, 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 what the heck?